Hello, it's GreenCosplay again. This month, on February 8th, was the 20th anniversary of a TV show, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that aired in 2003. This series has a very special place in my heart, and I wanted to make something to celebrate it. You might notice if you have watched my videos before that I sound a bit different. Or at least I do hope so. It's because I finally bought myself a microphone. This is my very first microphone. I have never used one, so I hope it sounds okay and that the settings are alright and I know how to edit and stuff. So be kind if something sounds wonky or just weird. I don't know. A brief history of TMNT. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a franchise everyone knows even if they have never seen or read the source material. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, TMNT for short, is an American media franchise created by the comic book artists Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. I'm sorry if I spelled their names incorrectly, I'm going to put them in the screen right here. The first comic was published in 1984. It was made as a parody of the popular superhero comics at the time. The comic was a surprise success, and in 1987, TMNT got its very first animation series, the adaptation that everyone seems to remember the best to this day. The show, and later in the 90s the live-action films, created what we now know as Turtle Mania. Ninja Turtles were everywhere. From 1980s to the present day, we have seen countless TMNT TV series, toys, video games and movies, and they are actually at this moment working on a new movie as well. Even though the peak of the Turtle Mania might be gone, the Turtles never really left. But let's talk about the early 2000s series. The animated series, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, produced by 4Kids Entertainment, launched in February 8, 2003 and ended on February 28, 2009 with 7 seasons and 155 episodes. In short, the show follows 3 teenage humanoid turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo, as well as their father and sensei, Master Splinter, among some reappearing characters like April O'Neil and Casey Jones. They are ninjas in training, and they fight bad guys, to put it plainly and super simplistic without spoiling the series. Shadowy figures jumping from rooftop to rooftop is probably what you expect the series to be, but it has quite many surprises in its sleeve, like space travel, and dinosaurs, and space dinosaurs? The show also deals with many interesting themes that you might not expect from a kids show, like found family, depression and anxiety, and anger management, to name the few. Unlike the 80s show, this one took a lot darker tone, matching very closely of the original comics. You can see that in the character design, art style and writing. Actually, one of the writers of the original comic, Peter Laird, was closely part of the production. I mean, if you are familiar with the comic, the first episode of the show starts almost exactly the same as the first panels of the comic, from narration to visuals. And like every new adaptation, the 2003 series wanted to turn a new leaf and make sure it took a different approach to the Turtles, to do its own thing, especially when the 80s show and 90s movies were such a huge success. For example, the 2003 Turtles don't really eat pizza, unlike the 80s Turtles that popularized the concept that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles love pizza.
Pizza.
Well, they do technically eat pizza occasionally, but the 2003 Turtles seem to prefer eating Chinese takeout or hot dogs instead. You can also see how the show is consciously taking distance to the last adaptations in this scene from the very first episode.
Oh, yes it is.
Personally, I really love this show. It was one of my favorites to watch as a kid on weekends, among shows like The Winx Club, Huntic, and Biker Mice from Mars. I have always loved the art style of the series, or well, the first 1 to 5 seasons. If you are new to the series, be prepared to the drastic changes of the show's style and tone after season 5. I'm not going to explain the reason here because I want this video to be spoiler-free, but yeah, it's a thing that happens. I don't hate the art style changes, but I just prefer the earlier art style to the later seasons. But yeah, the art style is so pretty, and yes, there are some interesting character design choices, but mostly everything looks so nice. Just look at these designs for example. Would this be a really cool group cosplay? Although, do tell me how these turtles are supposed to be 15. When it comes to voice acting, I freaking love it so much. I don't really care that the turtles don't sound like teenagers. I mean, they don't really look like they're 15. Something that I really love about the voice acting and writing is how the characters interact with each other. There is something cozy and heartwarming to watch the turtles tease each other, for example. There is just this chemistry going on and I just love it.
Way to be stealthy, Raph.
Yeah, I don't think they heard you over in Jersey.
Give me a hand. Don't even think about it, Mikey. Forget you guys, I'm pushing myself.
Whoa! Nice driving, Don, for a turtle with no license. Hey, you want pretty? Or you want affected?
There is a reason these characters and the show are so comforting for me. The characters are like your best friends, or found family even. Family and found family is actually one of the key themes in this show, which maybe makes it so interesting and nice to watch. And of course, the animation. It has its flaws, but when it's good, it is really good. Some of the fight scenes are just a chef's kiss. Such beautiful choreography, the humor, and just epicness, and just, it's so good. I watched the series in Finnish when I was a kid, but don't really remember the voices at all. So it's interesting how these voices make me so nostalgic. Well, I did rewatch the series for the first time from start to finish in my high school years, so I can technically say they are nostalgic now. The acting is sometimes so over the top, especially the villains. Just listen to the Shredder or Hun.
Those who are not with me are against me. And I crush anyone who stands against me.
This is some nice steel. How about telling me who gave them to you?
Yo mama.
But it makes sense because the source material is a superhero comic book and a parody of other superhero comics at the time. And therefore I think some over-the-top acting just suits the tone of the show. And the music is also surprisingly catchy, not just the epic intro song, but the background soundtrack as well. It's too bad you can't really find it anywhere, which makes me a bit sad. And actually, it makes me very sad that it seems that the 2003 series is nowhere to be found. There is no fan merchandise, the DVD releases do exist but are really difficult to find, and on top of that are stupid expensive. You can find the series in YouTube for free, and you can stream it in Paramount Plus at least. But it seems that this particular adaptation of the Turtles is kinda just forgotten. When you search for fan merch of TMNT, for example, almost all you can find is just the 80s Turtles. Maybe it's because of the huge success that the show had in the past, but also because it is still very popular. And as I said in the beginning of the video, the 80s show is probably what you associate with when you think about the Ninja Turtles. It's just that iconic. It just makes me sad that the 80s Turtles seem to be the only relevant Turtles, at least when it comes to marketing. I mean, it makes sense because it's so iconic, people love it, it sells, but it just makes me sad that all the other adaptations, the 2003 series, 2012, and the rise of TMNT, and then all the movies, games, and comics, they just don't have room to exist. And it just makes me sad and a little bit mad as well. I'm a sad TMNT fan. If you follow me in any social media, you probably know that Donatello is my favorite turtle. I have actually also cosplayed him when I made an AU character design a few years back. I still haven't actually finished him, he is lacking his turtle shell-shaped backpack. Maybe I should try and make it happen this year, now that we have the anniversary and all that. And speaking of cosplays, it is interesting how such a big franchise as TMNT, I don't really see that many cosplays around. Not even from the new adaptations. I've seen so many nostalgia cosplays like Barbie, Winx Club, Witch, etc., but not that many of TMNT. I wonder why is that, or maybe I just haven't found them. And speaking of cosplay in TMNT, one of my biggest dream cosplays is making a Donatello cosplay that looks like the 2003 series style. I want to try out making a muscle suit, the shell and the armor pieces, and a mask with white superhero eyes. I don't know, that might be really interesting to build and would be very different to the cosplays I've done so far. It would be also super cool to meet Sam Riegel, the voice actor of Donatello, in that cosplay. Well, one can dream. The 2003's Shredder looks really badass as well, and his armor would be really nice to make. Just saying. Anyways, thank you for listening me babbling about one of my favorite shows and watching me drawing my favorite characters of all time. Have you seen the 2003 series? Or other adaptations? Or have you read the comics? Do you have a favorite turtle and why? If you got curious about the early 2000 series, I'm going to put a link into the description where you can watch it for free here on YouTube. Actually, I'm going to link 2 playlists. The other one is a bit better quality, but is missing an episode. Specifically episode 3, which is very important to watch if you are new to the series. It contains a lot of the backstory of the characters and lore. The other playlist has all the episodes, or at least currently as I'm recording this video. It's a bit lower quality, but if it doesn't bother you, it's a really good place to find all the episodes and seasons in one place. I'm also going to link an interesting video essay series I really like. It's about the 2003 show, but mind you, it contains all the spoilers. It's really interesting analysis and breakdown of the series if you're not really interested in watching the series itself, but you are just interested in the topic. Anyways, in conclusion, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was fun to watch. My name is GreenCosplay. Take care and go watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.